Welcome to another episode of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. Welcome.
Welcome, and it's the last show before Christmas, which is going to be happening right around the corner. Are you guys excited about it?
No.
I finally put lights on the tree.
I was so inspired by Justin doing the lights. I thought, that's it. This year I'm going to do lights, and I never did it. I was told I can't climb up on the ladder because Gloria fears that she'll come home. I'll be on the ground.
Well, that's why I just hired somebody to do it. I don't get on ladders either.
Yeah, but yours ended up coming out pretty good, and you don't have to take them down.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. No, I love them. And Brighton Eternity lights. I got them from Costco. I think it was like $160 for 100 lights, and I got 2 strings. So 200 lights, a little over 300, and then I paid it was about $300, $400.
Did it take so long for him to install them?
No, the dude was like super, super fast. I mean, he said he does this like almost every day, so I mean, he's a painter by trade, so he's already always up on ladders. But yeah, he was super quick with it. I mean, I think the whole thing took him like 2.5 hours.
Amazing.
To do all of them.
Yeah. Wow. Now, and Shawn, you got the lights up on the tree. What kind did you do? The flashing lights?
Yeah. So we just have, it's like a 30-foot string of LED, the little narrow LEDs, and then a shorter string of the C9 bulbs, which are the bigger ones. And I spent a little bit of time today. I had to replace a couple bulbs, and then I had to just bypass a couple because I didn't have any new ones, and so I just spliced the wires together and made it work.
Now, do you have cats?
No.
Justin,
I have 2 toddlers.
Yeah, it's even worse. Yeah, I have the one cat, but he's too old. He doesn't really care.
He won't climb in the tree. And
no, he's
eat the stuff.
Yeah, he just looks at it and goes, I'm going back to bed.
That's what happens to us all when we get to that certain age. Well, there is a lot to talk about when it comes to tech, and again, we'll give you some tech ideas. We'll go down our list of stuff as we do every year that we would maybe like to see under the tree. But of course, one of the biggest stories, and we're going to get to a story that we kind of partook in last week when it comes to Justin's vehicles, but one of the biggest stories this week has been the drones over the East Coast, and it doesn't stop. And I'm thinking, is this really something? I keep thinking, oh, come on, guys, it's not drones.
There is something really weird going on.
There is so much misinformation about this story out there. It's out of control.
Yeah.
If anybody with a brain goes and looks at some of these pictures, you can clearly tell they're helicopters. Some of them. Not all of them. Okay?
Right.
There are drones flying around New Jersey. There are pictures of them. People have seen them.
Okay, well then explain.
But there are also pictures. There are people. Let me finish.
Yeah.
There are clear, identifiable pictures with tail numbers that have been public record identified as helicopters that people are claiming as drones. So I'm just putting it out there that people are taking pictures with their phones, zoomed way in. Oh, look, it's a drone. It's got red and green lights. No, it's a helicopter. Yes, there are drones flying around New Jersey. People are concerned because they're out at all times of the day and at night. But some people are claiming that there's 5,000 reports a day or something they're getting now about drones. They're coming in.
I've been cautious about wanting to fly my drone, even at the radio station to take a look at the property, because one of the neighbors might either shoot it down or they're gonna complain, and next thing you know, I have to deal with some kind of agency coming to the station wondering what's going on.
Yeah, but there's so much misinformation. There's theories about they're scanning for missing radioactive material. It's China. It's there's a company that is in the New York Bay Area that is using ammonia as a renewable, or not a renewable, but an alternative fuel for drones that's been flying them, and they've confiscated drones from them. So there's all these articles, and nobody knows what's going on. So yes, there are mysterious drones happening,
right?
But you can't just everybody's in a panic saying, "Oh my God, it's China! Oh my God, they're searching for radioactive material." Like, What?
Justin, now I know you were kind of going down this way, and I'm thinking the size of the drones. We're not talking about DJI Mini 3s or Mini 4s or Arvadas. We're talking about, from what I understand, the full drone. There's a difference between the military drones and the consumer drones that we could go buy.
Well, yeah, they're definitely not consumer drones, but I'm sorry, but I want to chime in here
All right,
with
all right.
what Shawn was mentioning about misinformation. I would like to get an explanation on some things, because I've been following along with this story a lot as well. One, why were there, let's just call them UFOs because we don't know what they are right now. Okay. Why were there UFOs flying over the US Capitol, the most restricted airspace in the world, and the military was doing nothing about it? Two, why are there videos of these floating orbs, not a drone, an orb, and maybe it's because of the focus, but why is it that an orb is floating and then you see another drone come up to it and then just get knocked out of the sky and falls down to the ground? Three, why are these orbs that people are filming, why does it show as what looks like an orb that is emitting light, and then all of a sudden, as it gets a little bit closer, it switches and then it turns into what looks like a drone with its actual flashing lights? The camera never moves, the camera never shakes, the camera's following these things, these orbs. As soon as it gets a little bit closer, it just immediately, not like a focus thing, it immediately changes into red and green flashing lights.
Where did you
Like,
see this stuff?
this
I
is
haven't
all
seen
over
any of it.
Reddit, dude. There's so much going on Reddit right now that I've been following on this, especially with these UFOs flying over the Capitol building, the U.S. Capitol building. People were showing really good quality videos of this, and there were like these orbs flying right above
How big
the
were these
U.S.
things?
Capitol. And then they would show, they're like, no, this is not a helicopter, because look over here. And he would pan over and say, that's a helicopter. And you could see the helicopter moving. These things were literally floating midair, not moving, right over the Capitol building. And then there's
How
another.
big were these things?
Well, they can't tell because they're too far away, but these things were floating orbs. They were not flashing lights. They were just floating orbs. And then on top of that, like I said, with the ones that were getting up close, you would see videos of other drones approaching these orbs, and then all of a sudden you see you see the other drone just fall out of the sky.
Well, okay, so couldn't I'll call it an orb, be a reflection of light on a material that is hitting?
I
I mean,
mean, anything could be
I've
true.
I've looked at my
Swamp gas. Like we're going back to swamp gas. I mean, it,
But
there are some I'm not like I feel like Justin is saying like I'm not claiming there's drones. Like I'm not saying that, right? There are clearly there are things that are unexplained, UFOs. There
Right.
are clearly identifiable pictures that people are saying this is a drone. But again,
okay,
Reddit is all over it.
Reddit
People
is
are
Reddit.
identifying it as with public available information that there's tail numbers for helicopters for some of these, not all of them.
Some of these. And the fact, the biggest thing, the biggest one, the biggest red flag that I can see so far is the one that is these things flying above the US Capitol. This is the most restrictive airspace in the world.
Well,
Nothing
they have a
goes
battery.
into
They
that
have
area.
a battery on top of the Capitol building.
No. This is nothing attached to the Capitol. These are
No,
things
I'm
floating around the Capitol.
They have a battery, an armament battery.
Yes,
where
and
they
they're not
could-
doing anything about it. And then there was that one that they found. They had the report of the one that went down in I think it was in New Jersey, maybe it was
Yeah,
Pennsylvania.
It was a big drone.
Yes, and then immediately the FBI stepped into the local law enforcement and gave the local law enforcement instructions: do not approach this. Get a bomb squad, and your radios may not work in the vicinity of this downed aircraft or whatever it is. Why would the FBI immediately jump in and tell them, do not approach this thing, and get a SWAT team and a bomb squad ready? Like,
Well,
why?
just in case. I mean, let's face
And
it.
they don't know. They're not saying anything.
A drone could be loaded with material that could be used in warfare.
Sure, but then why
mean-
would your radios not work near it?
Radiation?
I mean, Okay, then fine. If it even is truly from this earth and whatever it is, then why? What is going on? Why is the military not saying anything? And then they interviewed President-elect Trump, and they were like, "Do you know what's going on?" And the facial expression that he gave, he's like, "Yes, there is definitely something weird going on. I have been briefed, and I have no comment." What the hell, dude? This guy does not hold his tongue.
Yeah, normally doesn't, does he? Yeah.
So why would he say I have no comment? Like
National
there is
security?
something going on.
I don't know. The first time I heard of this, it started a couple of stories, people talking about it, and I will allude to the fact that right away I thought, it's Elon, because number one, we know that Starlink goes up, satellites dispersed, and usually they go in a line. There could be a row of lights, and people may mistake that for some kind of a drone situation, right? And that's what I thought. And then I heard this like wicked story about drones flying over a Navy base, a naval base, off the East Coast, and they thought that maybe they were controlled by a foreign government. And I don't know. The only thing I can think of is this is going to affect the fact that Shawn and I are not going to be able to fly our drones anymore. Either
Well,
that or they're gonna request tail numbers on everything.
well, that's another thing too. Is I was recently thinking about this. I was like, wow, I can't even go out and fly my drone because I might get shot down because
Yeah.
everybody's on high edge right now. So I don't.
Oh yeah, it's like I said, it's everybody. Yeah, nobody knows what's going on. There's a lot of weird videos coming in, but in the age of technology where things are, I'm not trying to be the conspiracy theorist here and saying it's all faked, right? But again, airplanes, helicopters, legally used drones flying in some spaces.
Right.
You have to
Not over the
factor
Capitol.
in it's Occam's razor, right? It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's aliens, bro.
That's the orbs.
Oh yeah, it's aliens.
I don't know.
I would love to believe it would be aliens. I would love to believe it's aliens that are actually trying to communicate with us and saying, "Hey, we're here. We want to talk to you. We can't figure out how to do it." People those are some of the conspiracy theories on Reddit. I'll be honest, I
Right.
read about these things saying that, oh yeah, they're orbs, but once people look at them, they shapeshift into something that we're familiar with, and that would be a drone with the flashing lights with the FAA approved lighting patterns. And I'm like, okay, that's a little bit weird,
Right.
but watching the video of the orb floating, a drone approaching, and then just immediately dropping out of the sky, and
Okay.
the orb didn't even get phased. I was like, okay,
I I,
if a
I want
drone contacted another drone, both of them would fall out of the sky.
right. I want to believe, to a certain extent of certain things. However, I've been not in my old age and in my knowledge of what AI can produce. I know that it could be faked. And like I said, I don't want to be the one that said, "Nah, it's not real. It's not real." Then something happens. You remember Independence Day? Like I'm kind of thinking, all right, Justin, you would have been the guy on the roof with the sign holding it up. Like, and
Welcome.
then, yeah, then you get blown away. But I just kind of wonder, maybe we're going too fast. Everything's happening so quick that is this situation real? I would love to get our listeners' thoughts too. You can feel free to drop us a line. We may share it. Again, tech guys at Tech Talk Radio.
This show's gonna get weird. If
Mhm.
we're gonna take listener questions about UFOs,
Yeah.
this is
Oh,
full
we're
on
gonna
the
start to
dude
be
with the
Art
hair
Bell.
aliens.
Art Bell, coast to coast, baby.
This is the aliens show. This is it.
Yeah, well,
I
that's
mean,
exactly
if
what it could
Art
be.
Bell was still alive, God, he would have a field day with this.
Oh, yeah, of course. So, well, who's the guy doing it now? Nuri, he does it, and then my
Mm.
buddy actually, Rich Barra from John J. Rich, he actually does it as well. So it's kind of interesting to see what.
I mean, there's a lot of unexplained things going on. And even today, I was literally watching News Nation just for a little bit during the day, just to kind of see what was going on. And they were holding a press conference with a two-star general at the Pentagon, and they were asking questions. And this guy was dodging things left and right.
Right.
And it was just so odd. Like the way that this person was just kind of shifting around and looking uncomfortable. It's like, something. Something is going on, but you won't tell us.
Well, here's something to think about. And Sean, you may be able to feel this one. In a drone, I know that my DJI can fly for maybe I think what 45 minutes on a charge. Uh,
Hmm.
can some of these drones that are used for broadcast, like the one that they believe they found today, I mean, that's a massive drone. They're very expensive. We're talking $20,000 or $30,000. Can those fly extended range?
Oh, so yeah, you got to look at right. The larger the drone, the larger the payload, right? So the larger of a battery you can put in, the larger control system you can put in, and yeah, you could. Anybody could make a drone that's going to be up in the air for an hour to 2 hours at a time, right? And some of these that they're claiming to have identified or have been looking at are a 5 foot wingspan. Like
Mhm.
that's not much shorter than I am if I
Right.
stood up, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like I said, it's nobody knows what's going on. There's amateur video everywhere about this, and you know, I'm not as impressed with the quality of the amateur video as I hoped to be.
Right.
I feel like we're going back to the Sasquatch days and the UFO sightings where it's like you're not really sure what you're looking at, a blow around the lens or whatever. But some of it is it's interesting to look at. It's interesting to see it,
Right.
but you just
So you think this
I don't know.
whole thing is just fake?
I don't think it's all fake. I think there are actually drones flying. Like there are
Then why if there
millions
are
and
drones,
millions. There are millions of
all
drones in the U.S.
Yes,
There are
all
millions of
drones
drones
are
in the US.
required to have. Now the FAA's rules that all drones are required to have they radio broadcast their identification. Every one of
Yes,
them.
but since
And
when has anyone?
why is nobody able to detect any of these things? And nothing is showing up on any of these apps that can
Oh,
scan for this
if
stuff.
if they're flying over the Capitol, Justin, they don't
Well,
want
that
to be
too.
identified.
No.
They
I
don't.
mean, anywhere. Nobody's able to find any information about any drones in the sky at any given time.
But yeah, okay. If I go and buy a consumer drone, it's gonna get locked out, geo fenced because it knows where I'm at. Well, it doesn't take a genius to go build their own drone without a GPS geofencing. Like you can build it without a
Oh,
GPS part of it,
so you're
and you
talking
could
about
fly your
somebody
own.
building a drone the size of an SUV
Yes,
as a hobby.
there are companies that build them for
Yes.
agriculture. There are companies that build them for GIS
And thousands
scanning
of those,
and
right?
aerial surveying.
Thousands of those that they're just going to randomly put up into the sky in front of the Capitol building.
Hey, there is a guy that set a world record this year for attaching clothespins to his face. 166. If you build it, they will be there. So maybe this is the whole thing. Somebody going to build a big old drone and make people think it's UFOs.
Yeah, well,
So
I mean, I get one, but not thousands. And they're not happening just over one area. They're happening in the UK, they're happening in the Netherlands, they're happening in Australia, they're happening in Japan, they're happening on the East Coast, West Coast of America. I mean, they're happening all over these places. So what the
right,
hell is going on?
right. I kind of wonder, will this change? Could this change legislation though for those of us that want to have a drone? I mean,
Oh, 100%, 100%. This is gonna. There are several high-ranking officials that are already pointing fingers at China. There are several people pointing fingers at China is using them to scan for radioactive material that has gone missing. Of course it is, right?
Well,
It's
they did say there was radioactive material. What was it? The
correct.
governor or mayor of New Jersey, mayor somewhere in New Jersey or governor said that there was radioactive material that went missing on December 2nd of this year. But people are like, okay, that doesn't explain it because these drones started showing up on November 18th. So that doesn't make any sense.
Oh, that's kind of trippy. I didn't know about that. Right. How do you lose radioactive stuff? Oh, I remember the it's the guys that were delivering it for Doc Brown and the
Yep.
DeLorean.
The Libyans, right? The Libyans. Yep.
Well,
Yep. And I do
don't
mean
know.
that in the sense of the actual movie. Okay. I'm
Yes,
not
yeah.
talking about, I'm not trying to be, whatever. The movie Back to the Future, the Libyans, remember?
I
Yep.
didn't. It's crazy, Sean. We're talking about this. I wonder. We're poo pooing some of this, and we're thinking, okay, yeah, maybe it's no big deal. I hope that I actually hope we're right. Justin. I mean, if you're onto something, if something is being done, and there is surveilling going on, I mean, now that the DJI has been blocked out, in the most part for some of their drone activity or being able to sell drones in the United States. I saw a couple in Best Buy the other day that are now available. Small little drones that have a
Yeah.
30-minute flight time, you know?
Small is one thing, but like I said, these things are visible from miles away,
Right.
and they're huge. And I've never seen a drone that can act as an orb, a
Yeah,
floating
that
spherical orb that can shapeshift. I mean, unless DJI has got something else in the market we're not aware of.
the orb. I think there was something called the orb, wasn't it? I think it was a mesh network.
Yeah, it's something.
Like
But
that.
also another one too is the one that went down that first report that the one that went down in New Jersey. The people now again, this is all hearsay, so this could very well be complete BS, but
Yeah.
they were saying that when the one went down, 10 other drones showed up right around it. Like they all kind of came together and were like floating around the area that the one went down. And it's like, okay, there's no video proof of that. So I
Yeah.
can't say that, but people were saying this, and I was like, okay, that would be interesting because why? Why would that happen? People were saying, well, it could have been a part of a mesh network. You know, all these drones could be a part of a mesh network, and the one that went down, all the other ones lost their connection to the mesh, so they all had to go back to the last known location of where that drone went down
Yeah.
to reestablish communication with the mesh network. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
All right, here's an honest question. And you mentioned Reddit as being a site where you may be able to find some of this stuff. Why isn't the media sharing this then? And if
Because
that's
the
the case,
media,
I
first
mean,
off, doesn't know anything.
well, why is it that Reddit is such the trailblazer on this, and why not Fox News or
Be-
Newmax or Newsmax or CBS?
News Nation or whatever. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, some of them are talking a little bit about it, but the part of it is they don't have credible information to go off of. Now, mind you, the media, the mainstream media is not very credible, and we've all been aware of that for the past few years. The mainstream media is not very credible, but they still try to hold up to a little bit of a standard. And it's like, look, we're not just going to go off of what people on Reddit say. Okay.
Mhm.
They need a little bit more than that. So I think that's why the mainstream media is not talking about this. Now, also on the other flip, flip the coin, Reddit is very much of a conspiracy theory platform too, like certain
Very much.
subreddits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you got to take everything with a grain of salt. But the fact that it has gotten to the point now where mainstream media is asking questions, saying, what is this? And they're asking the government, what is going on? And the government's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, that's a little weird.
Let me ask you, with the technology we have today, Shawn, maybe you know this one. I have a small remote controlled Spitfire, from World War II. It's very small, and I can't fly it worth anything. Could somebody fit a Cessna 150 or a Piper Cub? Because I've heard this has been described as a Piper Cub. Could they fit this with automation technology to fly like a drone, but it being an actual aircraft, which of course then would give you more flight time and more range?
I mean, you got to think how much autopilot stuff there is now. Yeah, I mean, anybody with the means could do it. Anybody with the, yeah, somebody could do that. But to
Why?
Justin's defense about this, right? Like the videos that you're seeing, you can't fly a Cessna like that. You can't fly a Piper
No,
Cub like that, right?
no.
These
They don't
the
float.
videos that you're seeing, they
Well,
are
first off, they float. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no way. Yeah.
yeah, they're so. This is either one ginormous elaborate prank that somebody's pulling,
That's what I'm hoping it is.
Yeah.
or the government's not saying anything because something serious is going on.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, like I said, it's aliens.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, we'll have to kind of keep an eye on that one for sure. Either way, we would love to get your thoughts on this. Feel free to drop us a line, tech guys at techtalkradio.com. We're going to take a quick break. We come back. A decision was made. Justin will share us the information about that coming up. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Scully.
And I'm Mulder. And you can find us on xfiles.com. No, I'm sorry. No, wait, wrong show. TechtalkRadio.com. We were right back. So we talked, was it last week before, something like that? I was talking about the issues with the car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, we went ahead and pulled the trigger.
Oh, all right. So we know that you have a Tesla and you had
Yeah.
a Ford Explorer, and
Yes.
you've had the Tesla for quite a while, and you suddenly, what? Now, why did you end up getting a new one? What was the deal?
Well, so
did
it
you then?
was so yeah, it was the Tesla we've had for over a little bit over a year. And we kept that. It was the Ford Explorer,
Mm.
and it's a 2017 Ford Explorer. Really nice. I mean, it's really good looking. I mean, everything looks really nice and neat and new. But it's the head unit. The radio head unit was starting to show some issues, where it would just never keep all the settings. So every single time I would get into the vehicle, it would ask me to do the whole setup process again. And talking to some people, it's like, yo, this is a failing head unit, and it's going to be about $1,000. Now, if it was just simply a radio, it wouldn't be a big deal. But this thing controls the climate, it controls the GPS, it controls all the other settings. I mean, everything. So it's not just a radio. And I already knew that I was only going to keep the car for maybe another year or so. So I decided, well, maybe it's now time to get rid of the car before the head unit completely fails. So we went ahead and did it. What I did was we went and bought a 2025 Toyota Camry
Nice.
XLE,
Right.
which is not quite the top of the line, but like one below the top of the line for the Toyota Camrys. And then we traded in the Explorer towards that.
And this is a hybrid vehicle, right?
It is a hybrid, not a plug-in hybrid, but it is a standard hybrid. So I've been driving the Toyota Camry for the last few days now. I'm just trying to get myself familiar with the vehicle before I hand it over to Misa, because Misa will be the primary driver of the Camry, and I will take over the Tesla as my primary vehicle. Now, the reason behind that is because I told her, I said I wanted to get another Tesla, and she's like, "No, we're gonna have one gas car, one electric." And I said,
Right.
"Well, I want the electric because I really like the Tesla." So she's like, "Fine, you take the Tesla and I get a new car." And I was like, "Okay." So, but I'm really liking this Camry. I mean, it is so smooth. The drive on it is just so, just I can't, there's no other word to describe it. It's just so smooth.
Right.
And I
All
mean,
right.
the
So
suspension, the handling, the acceleration, the features on it. I mean, everything about this car is just so awesome.
one of the things, Justin, though, like, and I have looked at cars because Gloria has been driving the same one since 2001. And, uh,
Mm,
one of the things that
yeah,
I've
it's
thought
time.
about, mine's a 2011, is the package, the entertainment. And I know that seems silly. Most people will say, no, you got to look at the drive, you got to look at the range, you got to look at all these other factors. But honestly, let's face it, what you have on your dashboard is going to make that trip a little more enjoyable. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
I mean, when I was looking at these things, first off, I was asking her what kind of car do you want, because we had all the options in the world. And she's like, "Well, I don't want an SUV, but I want all-wheel drive and I want a big screen." And I'm like, "Okay, well, that narrows you down to either a Toyota Camry or a Volvo."
mm,
And she's like, "Well, Volvo's nice, but it's way too expensive." So, it kind of basically ended up the Toyota Camry. The Toyota Camry comes with a really nice entertainment package. The XLE comes with a 12.3-inch screen, touchscreen, infotainment system. It's got, HD radio. It's got Sirius XM. It has Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. It's got a wireless, both of them actually. It's got the backup cameras. Actually, it's got full surrounding cameras, which is really cool. They I think Toyota actually took a little bit of inspiration from Tesla, because they have full surround cameras that watch around the entire vehicle. They have lane departure warning,
right.
not warning, but assistance. So when you're in cruise control mode, it will actually keep you in the lane no matter what. So it's just like the Tesla does. Um,
Oh
you've
wow,
got parking
cool.
cameras that will You've got cameras down below the bumper to watch down below, so make sure you're not hitting anything. And if you happen to be pulling close to something, that camera will switch and show you what is close to you at that moment. So I mean, it's just so cool. And
That
it's
is
got a
pretty awesome.
panoramic moonroof that is a full panoramic. The entire top of the car is a moonroof that actually retracts, opens up.
Now, does it have
Um,
in-car navigation, or is it going to be
it
through your
does.
Android or
It does have in-car navigation. It's got SOS ability to, like basically 911 for collision, automatic, that kind of stuff. It's got remote start. It has an app where you can keep track of the location. You can start it remotely. You can flash your lights. It does not have a built-in Sentry mode like the Tesla where it records, video, but it does have cameras all the way around. But yeah, it just doesn't record the video. But other than that, I mean, it is an amazing car. And then everybody knows, Toyotas last forever. But what's changed about that though is that not just with Toyota, it's almost with all auto manufacturers. It's not about the mechanical part of the car anymore. Now, people used to say Toyotas last forever because the mechanical is just so good. These cars are every car, Volvo, Mazda, Hyundai, Toyota, Lexus, whatever. They're all just rolling computers. So your
Yep.
car is truly only as good as your computer system that's inside the car.
So true.
So we'll see how
True.
that goes.
Oh man, that's pretty good. Pricing, was it a pretty good deal?
Yeah, I think sticker was 43. We got him down to 39. And honestly, I was really impressed. I went to a dealership. They were like, "Look, I don't know when the last time you were at a regular dealership was, but a lot of dealerships nowadays don't do commission. We don't do haggling. This is the best price, and we show you. We're very transparent what we paid for the car, what we intend to make on the car, because obviously we're a business and we have to make a profit.
Right.
So here's the best price we can give you. Take it or leave it. And
Yeah.
there's no haggling. And it's just like, boom, here's your price. This is it.
That's pretty good. And again, you're right. Those cars are built pretty good. I think we've all known somebody. I mean, I had a Camry as well. It was when my mom passed. I needed a car because the engine on mine went out. So I flew to Huntington Beach and drove the car home, and I used that for a long time until some Yahoo hit me on the freeway, and then it burned up in that fire in
Oh,
the auto
jeez.
shop. So
Oh yeah, that was the one that had the fire in the auto
yeah,
shop.
it was
I
that
mean,
one.
yeah, I mean Toyotas are really good vehicles. I'm impressed. I look forward to it. I mean, obviously it's going to be Misa's primary car, but we are going to go back and forth. She'll take the Tesla one of the days, and I'll take the Camry or whatever. So, but primarily I'll have the Tesla. And speaking of that, immediately after we did this, I went ahead and just bought all kinds of accessories for the Tesla.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I
Oh, for
got
the
I
Tesla.
got wheel covers to hide the scratches on the rims. I got a full interior LED light kit. I got a USB charging dock that fits into the center console tray. I got a carbon fiber spoiler, a carbon fiber dash. I mean, I just went nuts. I bought all kinds of stuff. And she's like, "Can you just keep the Tesla like standard?" And I'm like, "Nope."
All right, here's a question for you. This is good. All right, in a household that has a gas vehicle and a electric vehicle, you go to South Dakota quite a bit, visit your mom.
Yeah.
Would you be taking the gas vehicle for convenience, or have you found it to be just as convenient to be able to go in the electric?
So last Thanksgiving, not this one that just happened, but last Thanksgiving, we took the Tesla and we found that a normally 5.5 hour drive turned into about 7 hours because we did have to stop and charge
Right.
3 times, which wasn't a big deal. It would give us a chance to get up, stretch our legs, walk around for a little bit. Each time
Right.
was about 30 minutes. Um, this year, we took the Ford Explorer. And
Right.
honestly, it was about 6 hour drive. So you're talking about an hour difference between what I had with the Explorer and then with the Tesla. In terms of the Tesla, I really honestly like the self-driving. It's not, we didn't actually have the full self-driving, but we did have the enhanced autopilot, which would basically just follow your path for you if you were on navigation, and it would keep you in the lane and it would watch for you. I really like that feature. So I would say I really like the Tesla on long road trips because of that. It helps with the fatigue. However, obviously convenience is being able to just pull into a gas station 3 minutes later, have your gas tank full up, and you're back on the road.
Yeah, that's what I would think would be that. But people are telling me no, with the electrics, they've been pretty comfortable with those. And again, there are enough charging stations throughout the country now that you're not going to run into an issue. At least,
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Uh,
Shawn, what do you drive?
I have a 2017 Chevy Colorado, and Caitlin drives a 2023 RAV4, Toyota
Hmm,
RAV4. She
both
had
good
a
vehicles.
she had a Prius, a Toyota Prius from 2012 until it got totaled in early winter of 2022.
what happened?
She got T-boned at a four-way stop.
Ow, ow.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not fun.
So,
Hmm.
I mean, that car, I loved that Prius. The Prius, everybody gave a lot of grief to Prius, right? There's no guts, it just takes forever to accelerate, whatever. That car especially in the wintertime, it was just 4-wheel drive. But if you put decent snow tires on it, that car drove fantastic. It got
Mm-hmm.
amazing gas mileage, like 48 to 50 on the highway, 40 to 45 in the city. We drove it all over the country, and you know, it. We were looking at like what did we want to get after it got totaled, and Caitlin wanted to get a small SUV, so we looked at the Honda Pilots. We looked at the CRVs. She looked at the Mazda CX-5. She looked at a couple, the Subaru Forester, a couple other things, but she ultimately settled on another Toyota with the RAV4, which the RAV4 is also an incredible vehicle to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Hmm.
Well, we have a listener question, so let's go ahead and hit that right now. This is from David here in Sahuarita. A quick question for you guys. My neighbor is on a fixed income and asked me the other day if he could piggyback on my Wi-Fi. Now, I was surprised he knew that we had Wi-Fi, but said that our name was the identifier. I guess they named their Wi-Fi the family name. He said, should I change that? And are there risks to sharing my Wi-Fi with my neighbor? Again, David,
Absolutely. Don't
no.
know ever.
Don't. So I would say don't ever share your Wi-Fi with anybody you don't your immediate family, right? And some people can say, "Oh, just activate the guest network." And no, that's too. The consumer grade routers are so perceptible to tomfoolery and shenanigans that it's not even worth activating the guest network.
And
If
this
you're
guy, the neighbor might be upstanding, but anybody that's able to get into his system could then utilize it for their benefit, correct?
Well,
yeah, but I mean, but how? Okay, so you give your neighbor your password. Well, now your neighbor gives his grandkid the password. Well, his grandkid gives his two friends the password. Those two
yeah.
friends give their two friends the password.
Yeah.
Right now
And
they're over. Now they're over using up your bandwidth for a Halo LAN party.
yeah, and not only that, but just think about, your neighbor. What if they're not upstanding citizens? What if they're out there browsing stuff that is illegal on the internet? Or what if they're downloading, movies on the internet?
Adult
Guess who?
stuff. Yeah.
Or even worse, what if they're downloading these movies and stuff like, pirating movies? Who's going to get the letter from the ISP saying, hey, you're doing illegal stuff? You are, because it comes back to your account.
All
So
right.
don't ever share your Wi-Fi to anybody.
So David, no.
Now here's a fun thing, right? What is your? Let's go around the horn here. What is your Wi-Fi called, Andy?
I named mine after. God, I don't even know why I named it that. It's I don't want to say what it is, but I named it something that is completely unrelated to the family. It's unrelated to
Oh,
what the
come on, just say it.
dark water. All right.
Okay.
That's
I
what
don't
I
know what
named
that
mine.
is.
All right. I don't know why I named it that. And it's been that way for a while.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever, I maybe at one other time had something different, but I would never, ever name it the family name. Now, I like some of the names that are out there for, SSIDs
Yeah.
to name your Wi-Fi. There are some great ones out there. I say make it fun, right? Oh,
Yeah,
Justin,
Justin, what's yours?
what is yours?
The Wu-Tang LAN.
The
Get it?
Wu-Tang Land.
Instead of the Wu-Tang Clan, it's the Wu-Tang LAN. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That's the name of the show this week. Yeah, I like it.
Well,
John,
I mine's
What is
clever.
yours, Shawn?
Land Before Time.
Land Before Time. Nice. I like it. Yep. Yep. I like that.
Yeah, there's so many good ones, right? There's all these articles that have gone back decades about
There's another one I really like
fun
is
names.
Tell My Wi-Fi I Love Her.
oh my gosh, really?
Tell my Wi-Fi I
I,
love
I
her.
love her.
But when you
Yeah,
say it fast, it's Tell My Wi-Fi Love Her.
yeah. How about some
Yeah.
other ones? Do we know any other ones? I
Lando Calrissian.
Lando Calrissian. Yeah. I mean, there's so many.
There's so many good ones. So many good ones.
Oh, my favorite is like NSA surveillance van number 5. That's that's actually what
yeah.
mine used to be. And way back in the day, I would have people like they would walk by my house and stuff, and I would see them walking by on their phones. Maybe they were just scanning for Wi-Fi or whatever, but they would see potentially, I guess they would see the name of my Wi-Fi, and they would stop and they would start looking around, like looking
Now,
for looking for a inconspicuous van or something.
these are fun, but in essence, can you not broadcast your SSID?
Oh yeah, of course
You can make
hide
it
but
hidden. You can make it hidden.
But even if you hide it, it's really not hidden. It's hidden for the most basic of people. If you have the most rudimentary Wi-Fi scanner, it's still going to come up with the hidden, quote unquote, hidden networks.
The Wu-Tang LAN. I love it.
Yeah. IP frequently. That's good. I pronounce you man in Wi-Fi. Winter
Another
Wonder
one.
LAN.
Yeah.
Look ma, no wires. Router. I hardly know her. Like those are all like names and stuff. Yeah.
So-
Hide your
Oh,
kids. Hide your Wi-Fi.
Again, our listeners can let us know theirs if they want. Again, tech guys at techtalkradio.com. Another quick break. We come back. Another listener question from Roberta in Tucson that's standing by. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. One more. Wi-Fi faux fum. That's a pretty good one. We'll be right back.
So we have another listener question to come out of the break. And
yes.
if my web browser will cooperate, I can read it.
You can drop us a line anytime you have a question. Tech guys at techtalkradio.com. And we love to ask.
We love reading these questions because it spurs up a conversation and we get a really good dialogue going. But this one is from Roberta from Tucson.
All right.
The question is, I was telling a friend of mine I was thinking about getting Microsoft Office because there really is a lot you can do with it. She was telling me, and she's not too tech savvy, she said OpenOffice is just as good and it's free. I'm nervous about this. Is it safe?
Because it's free.
Because it's free. Yeah. OpenOffice or Open LibreOffice is a great open source tool that's free. It's got a word processor. It's got a PowerPoint very similar to PowerPoint. It's got all those things that you can use. If you're looking for a basic word processor that's going to do it, OpenOffice is totally acceptable.
Can you
Now,
save it in files? Like, say your boss, he has Office and he wants to get it in a doc format, docx or whatever. Can you save it in that format even from OpenOffice?
I believe so. I'd have to check, but I believe you can.
Or export
And
too,
to be honest, most of the Microsoft suite can open just about any other document from other word processing softwares because it has to, right? You can't be the leading word processing software and not be able to open up other very common word file types. So now I'm gonna promote a website we've talked about previously on this website on the show. Alternative 2 is a great resource.
Yes.
And that's Alternative TO, right?
Yeah, alternativeto.net. And if you have a piece of software that you're like, oh, I don't want to pay $200 for this piece of software, you can go to alternative2.net, type it in, and it's going to give you a list of alternative softwares that are more often than not open source and free. So the common one that I talk about is Photoshop, right? Everybody knows what Photoshop is.
Right.
You type in Photoshop, you're going to get GIMP, and you're going to get a couple other solutions that are free, that are just as powerful, if not in some cases better than not necessarily Photoshop, but there are some alternatives that are better than the one you may have been looking at. So alternative2.net, go check it out if you're curious about open source software, and don't be afraid about open source software. Open source software is community driven, right? It's driven by the people that care about the software, that are developing it for the users, not necessarily for profit. So it's sometimes you get a little bit better community support, you get a little bit better product updates, you get a little bit, your feature requests may be heard by more people that can tie those in. And then if you're savvy with software, you can take that piece of software, because it's open source, the code lives out there for free, and develop your own products or your own pieces of equipment, or your own software development kit that works with this piece of software. So
I could kind of see though, Shawn, though, Roberta's hesitation, because how often are we saying, don't download this through a link, don't download this from a website you don't know. You have to be vigilant in what you're downloading from. I mean, you do have.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Like, don't just go, oh, here's a great free word processor app that I just searched for. It was the first link at the top that had 4 pop-ups that said download.
Yeah.
Right. There are clear and present dangers on the internet, and do a little bit of research, right? Don't just be like, oh, here's this free thing, download, right? Do a little bit of research, read some reviews, read our blog, read any other tech blog. Like, just do a little bit of research, do your due diligence, and don't just go download. Like, she came to us, asked us the question, right? That's
Yeah.
doing her due diligence and saying, hey, I'm worried about this. Is it safe? Yeah, it's safe. Download it, use it. It's going to be a great tool for you, and tell your friends.
Well, it's kind of like, when I decided to start playing around with Linux, Linux Mint 22 and then the Ubuntu. It's free, but I was very careful about where I got it from. And man, it was great. Actually, it wasn't free for Ubuntu. That still cost me $35 for me to get the tools, but it was worth it. Absolutely worth it to be able to do that. And so yeah, I mean, just like you said, the due diligence, that is a good thing, and just to be careful where you're getting it from. Because I tell you, the scammers, the hackers, they're working really hard right now, right around the holidays. They're coming out of everywhere, and I'm seeing it in emails from what should be Amazon. So for many of us, our payroll processor is ADP, right? What is it? Advanced data something, whatever. ADP. I get an email today.
Advanced data processing.
Yeah.
I think yeah.
I get an email today from APD.
APD.
Yes, wanting me to log in to verify my employment so I could take a look at my paychecks and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no, not going to fall for that one. So they are trying to trick you in many ways. One thing we've heard this week, and I know at least Justin, and I think Shawn, you may be using it, is YouTube TV. I have been on the fence. I've been waiting. Looks like Ting is not going to be able to do our wiring till maybe April or May of next year, and that's when I was going to just switch completely from Xfinity, and go to YouTube TV and Ting. YouTube TV has decided to raise its prices, just like everything else, right?
Yep.
And apparently, they had a lot of people say, "That's it, I'm canceling," and they canceled.
So there was.
I just had a conversation with a coworker about this. We're coming full circle.
Yeah.
Everybody's tired of buying pay-per-view or this and that and buying this over there and paying for this over there. It is all getting bundled again.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so now if I have Disney Plus, okay, well now I get Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN, ESPN Plus. It's all in Disney Plus. Well,
right.
Now, why am I playing? Like, I just don't get it. The streaming wars is so ridiculous. Because
it went too far.
What a lot of people are doing is they're going month to month. They're paying for a month and then canceling because they know they're only going to watch it for a month to watch the one show or two shows that they want.
Yeah.
And then I just feel like that's such a hassle. But we're even thinking about trimming back on, do we watch enough Prime Video to warrant us having a Prime account? It's ridiculous.
Like, I don't know. I've had Prime for years. And I'm thinking, I have Prime because I know we do a lot of purchases, with Amazon. I think that's part of it. And I don't have to then worry about, paying for shipping and handling because that comes with Prime. Oh, but they've got this video service. Am I paying more? I don't
Right, but when was the last time you watched something on Prime Video?
Months.
Okay, go watch something and you'll see an ad.
Yeah.
There's ads on Prime Video. Like, it just popped in, and it's frustrating as heck because I'm paying Prime. I'm paying them $100 a year, and now I get ads.
Right.
Yeah. Well, considering what the other considering what the other streaming services are charging, I mean, $100 a year is not a lot. I mean, you look at Netflix, you're paying almost $20 a month, really.
Right.
I think. So
I finally watched something on Netflix the other day. I watched that Carry On with Taron Egerton, and I thought it was pretty good. It was like totally like Die Hard. I don't know if you guys have seen that one yet. If you like Die Hard, you'd like that. But I was like,
you mean you're watching something other than Hallmark Christmas movies right now?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh my gosh, Andy's growing up. Our little boy's growing up, Shawn.
I had already seen the Hallmark movie that was on. I'd already seen that one, so I needed to watch something else.
He's basically watched all of Hallmark.
That's all I've watched on Netflix. Seriously. In a long time, other than The Fight, when that was on. So yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah, you're right. I mean, the wars are on now. We've seen people going up from $72 a month to $82 a month for YouTube TV. People, do you still think it's worth it though at $82 a month?
So right, we're in an agreement with, so Kayla's parents pay for YouTube TV. We pay for Disney Plus. Like, we kind of do a sharing back and forth.
That'd be awesome.
And where they pay
Can
for
I get
YouTube
in on
TV, we pay for Netflix. They pay for, so, and like her sister pays for whatever another streaming service that we use. So we kind of shared around the horn. And now that they live closer, we're no longer getting flagged for the out of Netflix account
Nice.
because they live much closer now. So within the region, I guess, if you will. But I don't know. I'd have to ask them what they paid, right? Because we talked about this when they switched, right? They were on Charter Internet, which is a local ISP up in Ludington. They switched to YouTube
cable provider.
and they dropped their bill from like $125 to it was like $65 a month.
Ooh,
and now
wow.
I'd have to figure out what they're paying because I don't know.
Right. When you start adding everything though, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, Hulu Plus, Peacock, that's where people are suddenly going, wait a minute, how much am I paying for this?
Yeah, it's more expensive than cable.
And people don't think about it too. It's on top of what you're paying for your internet.
Right. I have HBO. I never watch it, but just in case something's going to come on, you know,
that's how they get you, right? This is the BS that we deal with, where it's like physical media is king because they get you. You know, you go to Netflix and you're like, oh man, I saw that the Super Mario Brothers movie was on and I wanted to watch that, and they're like, oh, sorry, the last day to watch that was 3 days ago. Sorry, you're SOL. Well, now where do I go and watch it? Okay, let me go to Prime Video. Prime Video has it. Great. You log into Prime Video. Oh, rent it for $2.99. Well, I don't want to rent it.
Yeah, that's why I got Plex.
Yeah.
So consumers are frustrated, but consumers are also lazy. So they will pay the money to not have to go out of their way to get a disc out and play it or buy a disc. Like, they know what they're doing. These companies, these streaming companies, they know what they're doing. And you are paying for a license to watch these. You don't own it. And I keep telling people it's going to take one major internet outage for a period of 3 to 4 days where people don't have internet, and physical media sales are going to skyrocket.
Let's go to Walmart and buy some DVDs.
Yeah, I know, right?
Exactly. Out of the $5 bin. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be crazy. All right. I wanted to bring up the fact that ChatGPT is doing something pretty cool. And I don't know if you use that. Shawn, I know you use it for work. And Justin, I know we have Gemini, so we've been using that quite a bit. I'm pretty good with Gemini. Most of the time it's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
But ChatGPT search has now been made available for free for all. It used to be only if you had a paid account. Now it's for free. What you do is you go to your ChatGPT login through OpenAI you set up a free account, and you'll see where you can create and ask for an image, or you can ask for a little globe and do a search. And I got to tell you, I did a search just before the show of something that happened here in Tucson, and it pulled up. And it was recently, like in the last week. So again, it's not behind a subscription paywall. It's free. They want people to use OpenAI search instead of course, Google search to help build the brand for ChatGPT. So if you want to try and do some searches on there, see how that comes up for you. All right, we can take a quick break. We've got more to wrap up Tech Talk Radio for this week. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. You can send us an X at Tech Talk Radio. We'll be right back. So we normally ask website of the week.
Yeah.
And none of us ever have it.
We're like, I haven't been to any websites this week.
I've actually got a couple of them that I found. I was just kind of, browsing around and just found some. I put them in a chat here. The first one it's really good for people that are using like photographers or graphical artists or just people that really want to know about the different colors. But there's a website called everyhex.codes. everyhex.codes.
All right.
And it is every color imaginable. And you can just float your mouse cursor over it, and it will give you the hexadecimal code for that particular color. So if you need to input it into, Photoshop or you're a game programmer
Illustrator,
or Illustrator or whatever it might be, This is every single hex color known. I mean, it is insane. It's all 16.7 million colors
So for
in
those who
one website.
don't understand, every color has a hex associated with it, and it's going to be just an identifier that this color, these numbers and letters represent that color. So
Yeah,
that's
like hashtag B9DB35 is like a puke yellow kind of
right.
color. Randomly, I just picked one. But
That
no,
was
this
just
is
nice.
this is pretty cool. It's every hex dot codes. The other one I was going to mention is
Right.
Open Megahertz. Now, megahertz abbreviated. OpenMHZ. OpenMHZ.com. It is a way for you to be able to go and listen to unencrypted police, fire, EMS,
Oh,
radio channels, kind of like Broadcastify, except this is more. It's open, so it's there's no one company behind it. And you can easily record your own local radio system. So you can just get like a $25 SDR and plug it in, and you can capture some sort of frequency in your area and feed it into Open SDR or Open Megahertz, excuse me, OpenMHZ.com. And so like right now, the top trending ones right now are Madison, Wisconsin, because of the
oh
recent
yeah,
tragic
yeah.
incident that happened there. You've got DC Fire and EMS, you've got Fairfax County, and you've also got New Jersey because of all the drones.
Oh
Everybody's talking
boy,
about the drones,
can
and so
you
everybody
do
wants
it
to.
for your own community?
Yeah, yeah. If you wanted to do it for your own community, all you'd have to do is just buy. They have an instruction guide on it, but you just buy a $25 USB SDR, and I forget SDR stands for. Shawn, help me out here. What was it?
Software defined radio.
Software defined radio. Yes.
Right.
And you would literally just hook an antenna to that and feed it into your computer, and then you could feed whatever channel you want into openmegahertz.com and let other people listen to it. Like for instance, Arizona, I can listen to the Pima County Wireless Integrated Network if
Oh,
I
very
wanted
cool.
right now,
Now Sean is
serving the
showing
Tucson
something.
metro area.
Sean, what are you
So
showing?
if you are interested in getting an SDR device, a dongle,
All right.
RTL-SDR.com.
Oh, cool.
This is it's an amateur radio SDR dongle that you can then tie into any web SJX, any number of amateur radio softwares, and these can actually tune in ham radio bands.
Nice.
And they're only
So-
they're only listen only, right? They don't be able to transmit.
Correct,
right?
correct. These are listen only. You would have to get some other You'd have to get some
Yeah.
other. You'd have to
Like
have
an
a
actual
radio.
radio, yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to actually have an actual radio that can tie in USB to your computer to transmit. Now, FT8, if you're anybody out there as a ham radio operator, FT8 is a very popular web-based platform that ties in USB to your radio and is low wattage, and you can DX around the world using your computer.
All right.
Yeah.
Also, I want to mention before we wrap, 24H2. That is the Windows update that takes out WordPad. It also messes with network sharing. I found out how we can get WordPad back. If you like using WordPad, I do. So I'm going to put together a video. We'll put it up on the website at techtalkradio.com on which files you need to grab. So you have, but again, that'll be up on our website. Real quick, what do you want for Christmas, Justin?
I want. Oh gosh, I have no idea. Man, it put me on the spot. Another camera lens.
Another
Sure.
camera lens. The one you got is a brand new one. It looks good.
Yeah.
It really does. It's a fixed focus lens.
Yeah, it's a 35 millimeter fixed focus f-stop 1.8. It's really good. Really good.
How about Sean? What do you think?
I want either that Epson printer or that other printer that you showed me that can scan the 4x6s.
Hey, yeah, it's not a printer. It's just a scanner. There's Visioneer.
Yeah, the scanner.
and
It's
the
a
Epson.
scanner. That's
Yeah.
what I meant. That's what I meant. Scanner. But yeah, I want that because I am painstakingly doing 3 to 4x6s at a time.
All right, Justin,
I know what I want for Christmas.
All
I
right,
want
what
the
is it?
Denver Broncos to go to the Super Bowl.
Oh, there you go. Is that possible?
It is.
Oh, okay.
They made it into the playoffs for the first time since 2015.
I like it. Very good. All right, that is it for this week's Tech Talk Radio. Wishing the best of holidays to all.
Merry
Thank you so much.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. We'll see you in the new year. Have a great time.